Hey, welcome to 209coach.com. I want to do a video for you today on this particular move that people do, players do all the time, and this particular move will kill your power. It will literally take away a lot of opportunities for you to hit doubles, triples, and home runs. So let's get started on this video, and hopefully this video will be very helpful to you. Now, the first thing I want to bring up is this. You want to start with a great setup, and this is so crucial. And this young lady here starts with a beautiful setup. You can see that her hands are between the neck and the deltoid, and that's what you want. This is going to allow you to use your wrists better. It's going to allow you to just apply a much better swing. Now, just because you start like this is a great start, but after we get a little further, you're going to see that a lot of things start to go wrong. So it's not only the setup, it's also what you do at the gather, how your sequence is, and so on and so on. And that's one of the reasons why with my videos, if you watch them, you will see that I try to always instruct my students to build their swing one step at a time. So again, this young lady here has a beautiful setup, and because her hands are between the neck and the deltoid, you'll see that you'll have a lot of flexion in the arms right here. You can see how much flexion she has. This is the kind of setup you want. Again, the hands between the neck and the deltoid, and you can see here that she has a vertical bat. So she has a beautiful setup, and right here her knees are outside. Her knees are outside of her shoulders, and her feet are outside of her knees. This is just a very good start. Okay, now, as we get started here, watch what happens here. Now we're going to see here that as she starts to get into her move, again, she has a great setup, and this is the part that I'm mentioning to you. You can see here, as soon as her first move, she starts to kind of bring her arms back. Okay, you don't really want to do this right here. This should be kind of a natural thing. You don't want to kind of push her hands back. See how she's pushing them back? This should happen naturally just by lifting your front foot, and the hand should stop pretty much right here. Okay, right there between the neck, where the hands will be right in front of the back foot, okay? This is where they should stop. But watch what happens. She keeps pushing her hands back, and as she reaches the apex of the gather, now you can see here that her bat are several inches behind her back foot. Now, when you do this, this creates problems, okay? Starts to create timing issues. It's just too much extra moving parts. So what you see here, it's a very common move, and again, when you do this, it starts to create other problems, and I'll go and explain this a little bit in more detail. So again, when you get here, you want to just lift the foot, and your hand should stop right there in front of your back foot, and then from there, the body should start moving forward. But as I just mentioned, watch what happens here. The hands go back. Now watch what happens as she starts to move forward. Okay, now at this stage is when you want to start applying the pullback, where your back elbow works up, back, and behind you. But watch what happens with her. As she swings, watch how her back elbow works down and to the side. Down and to the side. Now, the reason why you want to avoid this move is because you're depriving yourself of a lot of resistance, a lot of torque, a lot of pullback. Now, you can see here, it's very obvious that her back elbow is not working back and behind her. Again, it's working down and to the side. Now, think about it this way. If you were to pick up a ball and you were playing shortstop and you were out in the field and you were going to throw the ball to another player, you would never drop your elbow like this. As you get to toe touch, your back elbow would be up and would have a totally different look. Well, it's the same when you play baseball or softball. As you start to stride forward, the back elbow naturally, when you throw a ball, and you can try this yourself, pretend you're throwing a ball from the outfield to the catcher, and you'll see that your back elbow naturally will go up. But with players, because they've never been taught this technique, this particular move, again, record your child, record yourself, you'll see to some degree or another that your back elbow is probably leaking or going down instead of working up, back, and behind you. Therefore, if you do it correctly, giving you tremendous power in order for you to hit the ball much better. So again, from here, watch what's going on. Her hands start going back, and as she starts to stride, instead of the back elbow going up, back, and behind her, it starts to drop just like this. You can see here she even has a bit of back drag. Because of this technique, it's very common where the elbow's here and the hands are here, where it should be the other way around. What should be going on is the hands pretty much at this stage of the swing should be here, and the back elbow at this stage of the swing, as you get into toe touch, the back elbow should be somewhere around over here. So you can see it's the other way around. So Let me show you how it looks to do it correctly. Now, as you can see here, this young lady here also has a lot of flexion in her arms. She's a little bit beyond the setup, but again, she has not started her pullback yet. Okay, a lot of flexion. Her hands are pretty much between the neck and the deltoid right here, and her bat right here is kind of slanted down. Again, she's already kind of started lifting her foot. Ideally, you want to have your bat kind of like this or like this as you get to this stage of the swing, but this is very acceptable, okay? But the point I'm trying to get you to understand here is what happens, okay? What happens once you start your forward move. Now pay attention to her back elbow compared to what the other young lady did. Watch what happens to her back elbow. See how her back elbow works up, back, and behind her, up, back, and behind her. And what this does right here, and if you watch my videos, I talk about this all the time. You want to have a shoulder to shoulder, the back elbow where it's kind of all in the same line. With the other young lady we just saw, her back elbow was way down here, okay? And again, it's very important to understand what creates power. Now the sequence of this is this, okay? Watch what happens. She does not start her pullback until she starts her forward move where she gets that tremendous resistance, that tremendous torque. Now by that I mean this. Pay attention to what's going on with her shoulders right here. Now her shoulders right now are pointing pretty much in the direction of the pitcher, and watch what happens as she starts to stride because of the pullback, because of the resistance. Now you can see it's very obvious that everything is now pointing more in this direction. The reason why? Because of the pullback, because of the resistance. And this is what you want in your swing. So please give me a like if you're enjoying this video, and also subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. So now watch what's going on right here. Again, this is what you want to work on over and over. Just get to this place in the front of a mirror. I always talk about this where you're just with very smooth tempo. Just try this over and over and make sure that you're paying attention to the pullback. The pullback should be with your top hand. It should be a subtle move, nothing abrupt. And when you're looking in the mirror, just feel like your top hand is pulling back in behind you, and you'll see, and you want to have that shoulder to elbow look where it's all in one line, okay? Now pay attention to her bat and what's going on with her palm. Her palm is facing in this way, in this direction right now, okay? And this is another checkpoint for you when you do the drill, and watch what happens as she starts to do the pullback, as she starts to get into her toe touch. Now it's very obvious now that her palm is facing now in this way, okay? What this will do, and you can try this yourself, imagine you have a cup in your hand and just turn it over completely, and you'll see, start with your elbow down, pretend you have a cup in your hand, and just spill it completely all the way around. Okay, obviously you can't do that with a bat in your hand, but this is just for the sake of the feeling of what happens to your elbow. It's the same thing when you stride. When your palm goes from facing the pitcher to facing downward, it allows your back elbow to work up, back, and behind you a lot more natural, a lot easier, therefore giving you a lot of potential for more torque and more pullback, okay? So I hope you like this video. Again, the drill is just very simple. You get to your setup, and once you start striding forward, again, if you watch my videos, you know that I bring up about the tailbone rotating towards the pitcher, like you see what this young lady's doing right here. You want to coil the back leg. You want to coil the back hip. As you're doing this, you should feel like most of your weight is on your back side. Feel the pullback, feel the resistance, and just stop right here, and you'll feel it. And believe me, it feels like totally foreign to players that have never done this, but this is the correct way. This is what the most elite players in the world do. Thank you again, and again, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day, everyone.